Today we have Markeith Braden in the Superhero Branding Secrets course, and he is a branding expert on business branding and personal branding. As you can see how branded he is. He does everything in excellence. So without further ado, Markeith, I want you to share with us about your brand. And first of all, share with us what you do.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this. I am Markeith Braden, your personal brand expert. In particular, I help service-based entrepreneurs and corporate professionals to maximize and monetize their personal brand. And the reason why we do that is because many of us are best kept secrets. We have great skills, we have great talent, but many of us just don't have the visibility we need to attract the right client. So I like to say that we help you to shift from being the best kept secret to known and paid for your expertise. Because I don't know anybody who doesn't want to get paid for doing work that they love. And one of the things that we do is to help you to gain the visibility you need to be seen, be heard, and to get paid. In a nutshell, that's
now, if somebody has a Facebook, they're on social media, but they're not branded. So tell us, like in steps, like the first thing that they should do. I know you talk about getting your name on all social media links and getting the domain. So just start from there.
Well, I mean, the first step is always the foundational step, and that is, who are you? Who do you want to show up as? You know, a lot of times we try to do branding and we try to market ourselves, but we really haven't done the work in really understanding who we are and how we want to show up. Because the fact of the matter is your brand, whether you want to believe it or not, your brand is what people have to say about you when you're not in the room. When you're not in the space, what are people saying? For example, if I am talking to somebody in the community and they're saying that they are interested in starting a barber school and interested in starting a profitable barber shop, the first name I'm going to think of is Chin, right? Why? Because he has developed a brand around helping barbers and helping those who are in the beauty industry come from behind the chair and to start to lucratively making profit in their own businesses and helping them to start their own quote unquote schools that they can teach their expertise to others. So the first foundation of branding and personal branding, which I firmly believe in personal branding, is you got to know who you are and you got to know how you want to show up in the world so that people know when the thing that you solve comes up in the conversation, they know exactly who to say, who can solve it. So that's the first step.
Okay. Now, after they figure that out and they buy their domain name, and then they get their free Facebook names, YouTube name, Instagram name, all of those social media links. Now, yours, Markeith Braden, is branded all across the board. It's like a multi-billion-dollar brand, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Walmart, Home Depot. It's the same name all across the board. A lot of people make that mistake of using all these different names on different platforms.
Right. Right. You know, and if it's good for the big dogs, it's good for me. If, as Chin just said, if Coke is doing it, if Walmart is doing it, if Publix is doing it, if Armani is doing it, if a Coach is doing it, then why wouldn't you do it? You know, if you're really wanting to create a brand, and what is a brand? Simply all it is a promise that when you experience Markeith Braden, you get a certain type of experience. When I experience Joe's Barbershop, I get a certain type of experience, and that promise is always fulfilled. And so across the board and every platform, when you are getting your graphics done, when you're doing a talk or having your messaging done, you want to make sure that your brand is consistent across all platforms. You want to make sure that your brand promise, your brand messaging is always being communicated so that people always associate that with you. I want to be known in the world from here on out as the personal brand expert you call on when you want to enhance your visibility, when you want to enhance your digital perception, when you want to make sure that people connect with your brand and who you are so that they will buy from you over and over and over again because they believe in the value that you bring.
Now, I noticed in your branding, with you helping people, you're not just branding for everybody, although you can brand for everybody, but you chose to zero in and target on a specific niche. And I know a lot of people, they make that mistake trying to be everything to everybody, or that one thing to everybody. So what made you zoom in on that specific group?
So here's what I learned, in coaching and getting different mentorships that I've gone through over the years. And you may want to type this in your notes. You want to put this on paper. You want to put this somewhere that you can see it every day. The riches are in the niches. Say it again. The riches are in the niches. He or she who tries to serve everybody ultimately serves nobody. And so we got to understand that we need to pick a niche, not to limit ourselves, but so that we can ultimately expand ourselves. I'd like to give this scenario. Oprah Winfrey, before she retired her show, which after 25 years, she had done pretty much everything you could do when it came to television and having a talk show. She had started OWN. And the unfortunate situation when she started OWN was that it was a fledgling cable network, because she was attempting to do both the Oprah Winfrey Show and to do OWN network. And for a minute there, the network was suffering. It was hemorrhaging money. She tried to use Gail and other people as CEOs of the network, but it just didn't work because she was trying to focus on the show and trying to build a network. It wasn't until the show was retired and Oprah became the CEO of the network that the network really began to become profitable and become a powerful force in cable television. Why did I share that story? Because you need to focus on one thing and become the master of it. And then once you master that thing, opportunities to do things outside of what you've mastered will come, and you can now have your brand transcend across many types of businesses, but you need to become a master of one first.
Okay, that's really good stuff. Now, I want to share some of your pages, because your pages, they look different than everybody else's. I'm going to start with Facebook. When they see your page, they know that you're somebody. It's branded. So tell us a little bit about what you did. I mean, with the professional photo shoot, your background. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so one of my major packages in my program is called the Brand Maximization Brand Me package. It's called the Brand Me package. And in that package, we have an opportunity to do the entire personal brand campaign for our clients, from brand video stories. Video is major as it becomes to digital, because they are saying that by 2020, which is not long from now, about 85% of all searches via Google are going to be video. So you want to make sure that you have great brand video. Another part to our campaigns is that we do professional photo shoots for our clients as well. So we fly them in if they're not from the Nashville area, and we make sure that we do a branded photo shoot that tells a story of the person, of the type of business that they are doing. Then we create what you see there is a branded banner, Facebook banners. That's the right dimensions. That's the right sizes. And then it has the headshot, the professional headshot that I took on there. You also notice on that banner that I have my brand message. My tagline is maximize and monetize your personal brand. Why? Because I want to be known as the premier personal brand expert, or America's #1 personal brand expert. And then you see the information about who I serve, shifting entrepreneurs and corporate professionals from best kept secret to known and paid for their expertise. So my value proposition is that shifting entrepreneurs from corporate professionals and corporate professionals from best kept secret to known and paid for their expertise. So you want to make sure that this is consistent across all of your platforms, your brand colors. So you want to make sure that you get hex codes for the brand colors that you want to use. Even as you scroll down, you see that I have under the About Me, I'm still using my, scroll up just a little bit there, right there where the computer is. I'm still using my brand colors, but now I'm promoting my podcast where you can download the podcast. But look what I'm using. I'm still using my brand colors to promote my brand. And so it's important that you know what your hex codes for your colors are, that you know you have professional headshots, that you get some professional video done, that you leverage graphic design in order to get appealing and compelling graphic design for your social media. And so those are just a few tips that you definitely want to take away from once as you're building your brand. Even that new picture that I have there, that's one of the new pictures because I'm building a brand new website that is going to have the tagline and have the brand colors and all of that in it as well. As you scroll down just a little bit, that's one of the new headshots that I took recently.
Okay, now I want to show them this because on this video, we'll go back. If you look at this video, at the bottom, you have your logo and you have the purple and gold. So that's nicely branded too.
Yeah, so what you call that in video, you call those lower thirds. And so I'm able to get my graphics team, you know, or somebody who, you know, that does graphics to create lower thirds so that when I'm doing my video, I have the opportunity to kind of flash my brand message, my logo, and different things like that in the video while I'm doing my live streams.
And that makes it look more professional. I mean, people notice that. On here you have your logo.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go back. We're finished. All right, now I want to go to YouTube.
Okay.
Tell us about this branded YouTube page, because a lot of people don't have a YouTube page like this. Some of them don't have a YouTube page, but some of them do, but it's not like this.
Right. Every platform has its particular banner dimensions. So you want to make sure that when you get your YouTube channel that you brand your YouTube channel as well. So you want to make sure that you have a branded banner for YouTube, and the dimensions, I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but you want to make sure your banner is created for those dimensions. And as you go throughout my channel, you'll see that purple, the logo is used throughout the videos. And even when I'm just kind of creating a thumbnail, I'm going to use that purple that I use for my brand colors in the videos as well. So you don't want to confuse people. You want to make sure that people know what's going on. If you go to brandmeacademy.com, it's something I'm working on now with my new site, brandmeacademy.com. Hopefully it'll come up. Yeah. So you see, I'm using the purple now, and I got my value, my tagline, and my value proposition right there. And all I did was took a city background, and I put a color haze over top of it so that I can stay consistent with my brand colors. So you want to make sure that when you're having your websites done, your landing pages, that you know exactly what your brand colors are so that you can give that to the designer and they know what's going on. And so this is just a work in process. I wanted to make sure I showed you kind of a template of what you would want to do. Once you know your brand colors, once you have your brand messaging, you can always be very clear on how to create your stuff.
Okay, now let's go to your Instagram. And on your Instagram, a lot of your posts are branded. Everything looks professional.
Mm-hmm. And so, it's important to me if I'm going to be a personal branding expert, then my page needs to represent what I do. And as you see, I still use the brand colors. I have a whole column where I just use the brand color for quotes and for videos. And I just like that feature. I like the way it looks, because it moves together. And then the other posts are posts. Sometimes I let you into my life because a personal brand is a brand that allows you to be you and have a business at the same time. So I share different things personally, as well as I share tips of the trade that you might find helpful in order to help you as well.
Okay.
And, and I'm using my iPhone for most of these pictures. So you want to make sure, this is very important. You want to make sure that you always have good lighting when you're taking pictures. So you never want to take pictures into the sun. You want the sun to come into the camera. Say that again, never take pictures facing the sun. The camera facing the sun. You want the camera to always be facing you with the sunlight coming into the camera. And that way you can get nice, lighted, crisp pictures just using your phone, whether that be iPhone or Android.
Okay. Now, what are some of the tools that people can use?
So some of the tools that I use, and let me grab my phone so I can share some of those tools that I use with you. Mainly for my pictures, sometimes I do a little bit of editing on the pictures. So one of the tools that I use to kind of enhance the lighting of my pictures and kind of do a slight editing, not much. There's a app called Enlight, Enlight. Enlight helps you to edit pictures, add light to them, and so that they look a little bit more crisp for you instead of just uploading, basic pictures. Another tool that I use, especially if I'm trying to do quotes and different things with pictures or want to do a collage, I like Live Collage, LiveCollage. And that allows you to share multiple pictures on one graphic. So Live Collage is a tool that I use. Another tool that I use is Typorama. That allows you to put text on top of pictures. Typorama allows you to put text on top of pictures. And so there's so many different tools that you can use to really help you with your social media. One of the tools that helps you to kind of plan and schedule, you could use Hootsuite or Buffer that allow you to upload different memes and different social media posts and schedule them to go out onto those social media channels that allow the third-party platforms to use their embassies, what I like to call it.
Okay, now when I click this link, your Instagram link.
Right. So when you click my link, one of my main lead generation tools is my podcast. So I lead you to my podcast so you can listen to it and listen to other episodes in the podcast if you want to, because a lot of my lead generation comes from the podcast, and you're able to get a little bit more information, and you're able to download the podcast to your phone through one of your apps, but you'll always be able to get the latest episode that I did via my podcast.
Okay.
And then you can get directly to my current site if you want to learn more about me.
Now, what other tips would you give somebody that is just started out with their branding? They're on social media, but they are not branded. Because a lot of people are on social media, but they're not branded.
Well, I think first and foremost, always start with, who am I? How do I want to show up in the world? How I want to show up? What do I want my brand promise to be? Why will people hire me? Why will people come to my shop? Why will people buy my product? You got to really fully understand, be self-aware of who you are. And then number two, then you want to come up with, how will I enter the marketplace? What's going to be my strategy to enter the marketplace? The reason why I have my podcast background in this particular recording is because the way I entered the marketplace was through speaking and podcasting. So I started out marketing myself as a speaker and as a podcaster. And then it has morphed into other things, me doing coaching, me doing personal branding services for clients. But I marketed myself. I entered into the marketplace as a speaker and a podcaster. So you got to ask yourself, how do you want to enter into the marketplace? And then
keep going.
Number three, after you know who you are, you're self-aware, know how you want to show up, you know how you want to enter the marketplace. Now it's time for you to take action and implement the things that you've been taught, that you know, or hire people to help you to create the brand that will help you to enter the marketplace and that will help you to begin to establish yourself as an expert or as an authority in the thing that you want to establish.
Okay. Now, what do you feel are some of the big mistakes?
Some of the big mistakes is that a lot of us try to do things that we know is not our expertise. I'm one, right? And as a business, you want to be able to focus on the things that generate income and hire people to do the things that you know is not your expertise. Russell Brunson, who's the founder of ClickFunnels, he has this saying. He said, it's not the what, it's the who. I'll say it again. It's not the what, it's not even the how, it's the who. Who can you hire to do certain parts of building your online presence, building your digital presence while you make the money? Because the fact of the matter is, as long as you're making the money and generating the income, you can pretty much hire and pay somebody to do the other stuff that you don't know how to do off the top of your head.
Okay.
If anything, that's the number one mistake many of us make, is that we think that we don't have the money to hire or to pay somebody to help us. But if you focus on generating income, then you could have the income you need to pay people. And then there are resources like Fiverr, where you can go on Fiverr.com and find people to, do blogs for you, to do your graphic design for you. They say it starts at $5, but sometimes you end up paying 10 or 15, right? But you have an opportunity to leverage overseas low-cost help in order to get your brand done. And so Fiverr is a great resource. Another resource that you can use to get things done is Upwork. Upwork has people where you can hire them to get certain aspects of your website done. You can hire them to do certain aspects of your email copy. There are multiple ways that you can get certain things done or you hire people like Chin and his company to help you get landing pages done. It's just a matter of you taking time out to strategize what it is that you need to do in order to get it done.
Now, why do you think people don't hire an expert like yourself to do their brand so they can look like $1 million company?
I think 9 times out of 10 is because of money. You know, we look at it as we look at it with a mindset of lack versus a mindset of abundance. It does take money to make money. It may not necessarily take a whole lot of money to make money, you know, because I tell people all the time, when I started my coaching business, I was profitable from day one. It took a little money to buy the right tools, the technology, but I was able to set a fee to the point where I was able to be profitable from client number one. Okay. So be willing to find individuals who can get done what you need to get done and be willing to pay them so that you can start profiting from your expertise and profiting from the work that you do.
What brands out there do you like?
So because I'm a speaker and a coach, I follow brands like Lisa Nichols. I follow brands like Jack Canfield or Eric Thomas. I follow people like Marie Forleo and Amy Porterfield, John Lee Dumas, who's a podcaster, Pat Flynn. You know, so I'm following those expert online-based business experts. But if you are an actor, if you are a barber, if you are a beautician, if you are a lawyer, you want to follow the people who are doing what you want to do. Let me say that again. You want to follow the people who are doing what you want to do on the level that you want to do it on. So I'm following people who are making $1 million online because they're doing what I want to do on the level that I want to do it on. Because here's what Tony Robbins says real success really is. Real wealth really is. The ability for you to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with whoever you want to do it with. I'll say it again. True wealth is to be able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with whoever you want to do it with. That's when you know you reach the wealthy moment, the wealthy place.
Now, your branding looks just as good as theirs, if not better.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And since your branding has gone to that level, are you able to command higher prices?
Absolutely. So, first of all, let me say this. To command higher prices is probably 20% of your brand. The other 80% to command higher prices is mindset. I'll say it again. 20% of commanding higher prices is looking to par. You know, does his brand look to par with the pricing that he's or she is wanting to pull in? The other piece is just having the mindset to ask for what you're worth. Yesterday, I had a great experience with a lady who I met at ClickFunnels conference back in February. She and I talked. She shared with me, you know, the things that she needed to get done. She wasn't sure how she was going to get it done, but needed to hire somebody to get it done for her. Now, this is a woman who had means to pay somebody. So I shared with her how I could serve her, how I could help her. But she decided that she wanted to work with somebody she was more familiar with and that she already knew who she had worked with before. And I didn't have a problem with that. You know, I shared my pitch, and 9 times out of 10, if you don't close the deal, it's something that you said. So maybe I said something that didn't close the deal for her. But I remained consistent. I remained steadfast in the work that I did. 4 months later, which was yesterday, she calls me and says, I really need your help. I know you can get the job done, because the guy that I worked with previously took the money and I hadn't heard from him, and I still don't have the things that I needed for my brand. So we talked through what her challenges were, and I offered her the same thing I offered her in February, but it was a different price. In February, what I offered her to do was, I think, $1,500 to get certain things done. Yesterday, what I offered her was $7,000.
Wow.
Why? Because I had more value. I developed a better mindset around money to be able to charge what I'm worth. And my brand in and of itself spoke for itself. Why? Because she called me back after 4 months. And the great thing about this was that while on the call, she referred me and three-wayed me with another friend of hers who needed the exact same thing. And I closed her yesterday too.
That was really good.
And she went off the word of the person that I closed.
Okay. Are there any other tools that you feel that people will need in building their brand? I know you use a lot of ClickFunnels. Any other tools?
Yeah, so my main tool that I use for email autoresponder, for my CRM and sales, for my building landing pages that I put on my website, the main tool I use is ClickFunnels, even for my membership program. However, I highly do recommend, if you're going to have a membership, you could also use a platform called Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable. Now, I was reading my book for our work week, and one of the things that he mentioned in that was that you really don't want to give people a whole bunch of options, because that makes the sale that much more difficult for people to make. And so I will share with you that ClickFunnels would be the main thing that I would use for my brand if you need an all-in-one system.
Okay.
And then for live video, I like to use what's called Ecamm Live, which is for Mac users only, to stream videos. But you could also use a tool that Chen is using right now called Zoom to do group coaching meetings, to do live streams if you care to do that with the Zoom webinar feature. And so Chen likes to say that I'm perfect, and we all know nobody's perfect. But I like to do things in excellence. And so tools that allow me to produce my podcast and produce good quality videos, and to do things like I'm doing right now with my podcast meme in the background. I'm always looking for tools like that to help me to get my brand message out, and to help me to really do what I care to do as a brand, as a personal brand expert. Because what do you see? You see my name, the Markeith Braden Podcast.
Yeah, that backdrop, it looks really good the way that you branded that. When people see a good brand, I guess they put value with that brand.
Yes, they equate value with a brand, especially when it is a well-graphicked, well-presented brand. Because nobody wants to do business with a brand who claims to be $1 million brand but looks like $100 brand.
Right. Okay.
And the things that I'm doing, they're not expensive and they're not hard to implement.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn some of these things, do you teach?
Right. So I have my lowest package that I have to teach the tools and tricks of the trade that I do is called the Brand Maximization Bootcamp. It's a 12-week bootcamp that I provide for my clients that enroll. And over the course of 12 weeks, you learn how to leverage your personal brand. You learn how to create brand visibility online. You learn how to work on your messaging. And I don't do all the teaching myself. I use some of my expert super friends to help teach some of the modules so that you can learn how to do these things for yourself. If you are the DIYer, this is a great program for you called the Brand Maximization Bootcamp. And, you know, if you have any interest in that and learning more about it, you could just become a part of my email list. And all you have to do is to text the keyword, all one word, brand me to 55222. Text the keyword, all one word, brand me to 55222. You'll get an automatic message to join the email list so that you can learn how you can become a part of the Brand Maximization Bootcamp when I roll it out in July.
Well, I thank you, Markeith, for sharing all of your expertise on branding. I'm sure everybody that watches this, they're going to get a lot from it. You shared a lot of great tools. We've looked at all of your pages. You're setting a great example of what a brand should look like. So what would you like to leave the people in the course with?
I'll just leave you with this. Your personal brand is your business. Your personal brand is your business. Whether you believe it or not, whether you've worked on it or not, you already have a personal brand. The question is, are you going to make your personal brand truly your business so that you can build a lifestyle of your dreams and so that you can create the income that you've always desired to create? And at the end of the day, when you decide to take control of your personal brand, similar to what Jay-Z said. Jay-Z said his number 3 on how he became a billionaire was that he leveraged his personal brand in all of his music and everything that he does to sell his products. So if it's good enough for Jay-Z, guess what? It's good enough for me.
All right. I thank you, Markeith.
All right, Chen. I appreciate you allowing me this opportunity.
Thanks.